excited about chatting with you today, and I'll give you several reasons why. When we had the guest on last week, and if you didn't get a chance to watch that recording, I would encourage you to do so. Her name was Kay Blonde. She's a holistic and business coach from Kansas City, and really, like Janet, I think you got a lot out of it. I got some good comments. Patrice, I think you were enjoyed it a lot. Mimi Do was pretty excited. Um, I think, yeah, everybody that I heard on there all said they really enjoyed it. Renee, it's good to have you on the call from Brentwood, California. What is that? All of 20 minutes from here. Excited to have you. So anyway, the main thing that I wanted to talk about today is a little bit about now next week. I've got a guy that spoke on this call last year, right in the middle of pandemonium, sort of. And he was really a calming voice in the midst of chaos. And his name was Hunter Marquardt. And he does, Hunter is a lender for a very large mortgage company. And he's also a coach for a company called Core Coaching. And Core Coaching is really, really a very results oriented coaching company that I've heard of for years. They coach both real estate agents and mortgage agents. And so he coaches, plus he is a loan agent himself. Plus he's chief of productivity for this huge mortgage company that is pretty much not all over the nation, but a good part of the nation. And he also does something called Sunday Thoughts that he does every Sunday morning. And I just love his Sunday Thoughts. They are literally they shake you into reality on Sundays. Like he'll just say something about the death of someone or something that happened or something his kid said to him, and it's really great. So I hope you'll join us next week and continue to watch. If you are not on the email list, okay, I'm going to put in the chat my assistant's email address. And if you want to be on the email drip for this call, meaning you get the recordings, then you need to email Gina at rickjiha.com and tell her, please add my email address. And then it's somewhere between Monday and Wednesday at the latest, but Monday earliest, that we send out the notes and the recording. Okay. Now, there were several things that Kay said that resonated with me also. I was finishing up a mastermind in Cabo on the day of that call and getting ready to head to the airport. And I had checked in on my own attitude. I was super excited to be in Cabo because of the quality of the people we were surrounded with. It was a mastermind. And, I tested out the waters when I talked to people. And this goes to my point. So please apply everything I'm saying, not to me and my story that I'm telling, but to how it relates to how you think, act, and perform as a result of your own thoughts. Now, here's what I mean by that. What do people automatically think when you tell them you went to a mastermind in Cabo? So take yourself off mute and tell me what you think people automatically think when you went to a mastermind in Cabo San Lucas, which is, for those of you who don't know, it's a beautiful ocean town in Mexico, right? You're right on the water. It's gorgeous. It's sunny. There's pools. There's, it's an all-inclusive resort. There's beer and margaritas and everything you need. What do you normally think? Go ahead. Anybody, throw it out.
A party, 2 hours of work.
Cocktail.
What'd you say, Rob? How many hours of party?
About 2. All party and holiday, beach, drinks, and about 2 hours of work.
Right. Yeah. Who else said something? Someone else? No? Nobody? Are you on mute and speaking and no one's hearing you?
I said cocktails.
Yeah, cocktails, right. So
a lot of mind relaxing,
yeah,
cooling out by the pool.
Right. And I'll be honest with you, I was in a bathing suit twice. I got there Saturday. I was in a bathing suit all day Sunday because we were invited onto someone's yacht. And then I was in my bathing suit on Thursday. Other than that, I was in a suit the whole time. And now, that's what is the truth about what happened, but what did we make up? Now, what about my own language? Gosh, yeah, it was a great mastermind, but I was only in my bathing suit twice. Well, why do you got to say but? Does that mean that it didn't work out? It wasn't a great mastermind? You had different ideas about your reasons for going there? Like, this is the way we handle everything in our business, ladies and gentlemen, and we handle everything in our personal lives the same way. The lesson that I'm having right now in the midst of one of the busiest times I've ever had as a real estate agent, and that's why I'm speaking this part, because so many of you are in the midst of realizing how busy it is, and it could get busy, and you have to watch fluctuations. So I've got so much to talk about today. I'm about to explode. So let me tell it to you this way a little bit. We all get busy with our business. We had our team huddle, the Rick Gihar Real Estate Team huddle every day. We have it at 8:30 a.m. Fridays, same thing, right before this call starts. And what we started to notice is that we have what we affectionately call, I can't tell you what we affectionately call them, but let's just say clients that are challenging. How about if we use those words, okay? Now, you all have challenging clients, but how do we handle that? What do we make up in our heads about it? Am I only worthy of challenging clients? Oh my gosh. I have had so many of these challenging clients in a very short amount of time, all stuffed in and all happening at the same time. What you make up about your challenging clients and your business is the thing that keeps you from having more success. I'm not telling that to you. I'm telling it to me right now. Okay? Even working with our whole team, the individuals, they're on this call, Patty, Larry, Patrice, Cindy, we've all been working together as team members to incorporate what we know to help our challenging clients. And what does it say to me? That after almost 41 years of selling houses, I got a lot to learn, right? When Patty calls me and says, I'm a little concerned about why we haven't been able to get our client into a contract, and we've written 10, and he lost out on all of them. What do I say as her mentor, as her guide, as the head of the team that she works on? I say, Patty, I've been in the business almost 41 years, and I have never experienced anything like this before. Rob, would you agree that in all the years you've been in real estate, and you are a huge producer, that this is not something you've ever seen before? He stepped away from the phone. So as I've done that, then I have to take a check-in every night. My team might not even know this, but every night I review in my head, what did I say to the people I care about most, those people on my team that I want to succeed, that I want to have an amazing time, that I want to have what they say they want. Notice I didn't say I want them to have what they want. I want them to have what they say they want. Sometimes what we say we want, we're not committed to. I learned that about 11 years ago when I was in a coaching program, and the guy say, I'm committed to get you what you say you want, and I'm going to hold you, listen to this, I'm going to hold you capable of achieving it. Okay?
Yeah, we get so busy and stuck in the do that we create a new story of, I'm just so busy dealing with crazy clients.
Yes, exactly, Rob. Thanks for chiming in. So that's the thing, that I am committed to helping the people on my team get what they say they want. The reason we clarify it like that is this. Sometimes we say we want things that we're not really committed to wanting or to having. Okay? But when we say it, it sounds good. Okay? So what did I have to do as I was growing? My biggest growth stages have been since I turned 51. Those from 51, and I'm almost 64, the most amount of growth I've ever experienced in my life. And what is happening right now for those? A challenge on everything I've learned to grow and be the person I am today. Everything's challenging. Okay, guess what? When I get triggered, I've told you guys this a million times in the last 20 weeks, probably. When I get triggered, it's a reflection of something that's a problem that I have with myself, not the person or the thing that's triggering me. Okay. And I get on my team huddles with my team, and we all just kind of poke fun and laugh and commiserate about what's going on that frustrates us. But at the same time, I don't know that I spend enough time with my team, other than maybe on this call, and most of them do get on, talking about the part of the mindset that affects that business. In other words, the more I have a clear vision about the kind of people I want to attract, the more I will attract those kinds of people into my business. And that would mean whether I'm looking for another buyer's agent on my team, or I'm looking for an assistant or help or anything, or I'm just looking for a buyer or seller, my mindset is going to help affect a change in the kind of people I attract to my business. Now, I've also said this before, I meditate to Dr. Joe Dispenza when I do meditate. Haven't been consistent, and when I have, it's really worked out well because it helps me clean up my thoughts about the future. In other words, I don't say, well, I've been attracting a bunch of pain in the butt clients, and it looks like that's just what I'm going to attract. Well, guess what? What you speak about, you bring about. What you think about, you bring about. So what if we think and speak differently about that? Now, for the people on this call today, all 20 of you, that might be an old thought. You might, I hear that all the time. I know that. And are you incorporating it into your life? Are you actually making that make a difference? The main thing here is that you have to start having incredible thoughts about you, what you're capable of, and what your future looks like for it to actually come true. Okay, now we're going to move into science, only I'm not the guy to talk to you about it. I have a degree in science. I have a biology degree, biological sciences, Bachelor of Science in Biological Science. That's a BS in BS. And a lot of people that know me go, that's appropriate for you, Rick, a BS in BS. But the fact is that before I was 50, I probably deserved that BS in BS. And now I don't speak anything that didn't immediately affect me or could help me change. So as we look at what Kay Blond said last week, whether you heard it or not, you got the recording. And if you didn't get it, let us know, we'll get it for you. Was about the things we make up that keep us from doing the things we know we must do, right? She said it in a more holistic way than I'm saying it. And I am personally going to go back and listen to her call again because I took notes and I still didn't feel like I got all of it. I wanted to go do that again. So here's the thing. The meditation really changed a lot for me starting at about April of last year, right after my wife and I were cured or recovered from COVID is when we started listening to Dr. Joe Dispenza. I was in the middle of a very, I had a lot of pain on a daily basis because of my hip. I was limping. I played basketball limping up for about the last 6 or 8 months before COVID stopped basketball. So all of these things were going on in our lives. And then, of course, remember, if you do remember and you were involved in the real estate industry at that moment, between March 16th, when they closed the world down, and about May 15th, so just about 2 months, we were unsure that we were ever going to be able to sell a lot of houses again, right? Or I know I was. We had people out showing property against the rules, but the people really wanted to see them. But we had a lot of people. The majority of our buyers are saying, we're going to wait this out, see how that works. Well, for those buyers, it didn't work out for them well, because then they started getting into, by the time middle of May came around, we had multiple offers, and it was happening all over the US. All over the US, when you were in the median price range, things were imploding. Like the buyers were coming out of the woodworks and less sellers were selling. So we saw what happened. And when I saw that explosion, I was like, what do we mostly do? I don't know about you, but I get really grateful. I'm like, whoa, thank you. You know, I can eat again. All right, let's get down to the truth that it's we don't do this at the end of the day for anything less than the money. I'm not saying you don't have a philanthropic reason or you love changing people's lives by handing them the key to their first home or telling them that they're capable of buying when they only thought they were capable of renting. All those things we do at the end. But at the end of the day, we got to pay our bills. So I'm asking you to mix reality right now, going forward, mix and understand the reality, learn from it, and still see your future as this amazing vision and speak that vision into reality. Okay, much easier said right now to you than done by you. Much easier said to you right now than done by you. Why do I say that? Because I'm living it with you. All right. I sit down at this dining room table every day. Patty Recupero and I were on the phone right up until 9:04 when I jumped on here because we're trying to help the mindset of the buyer who's lost 10 offers. And now that he's possibly got one that he could buy, he's like, oh my gosh, I can maybe buy one right now. So those are the things that are reality about what we do on a daily basis. What we have to be doing at the exact same time is setting alarms in our phone to work on our mindset. How many of you remember me saying this in the past? Raise your hand if you remember me saying setting alarms in your phone. I have, maybe not to this group recently, but the members of this group change a lot because there's over 800 people on the email list for this. But here's what I want you to remember. I heard this from someone else the other day, and Kay Blond said it, but there was some other call I was on where it said naturally. Oh, I know. It was a doctor, a PhD in mindset. Rob, thanks for, are you saying that you've heard me say that, Rob? I believe that's what you mean. So thank you.
Yes.
Okay. But if you want to talk, Rob, you have carte blanche. You can just interrupt anytime. But here's what I said. This lady said this. They had us, for the coaching company I coach for, take another assessment that I've never heard of before. It's called an emotional quotient assessment. And I was like flabbergasted at what I heard these people talking about. These two PhDs were talking about us too. And they were saying that that the difference in these emotional quotient tests when taken by law enforcement officers or military or a guy like me that's a salesperson, they can all have higher scores, but what they mean, one of the scores that they give you in there is empathy levels. And the lady said that empathy levels in a law enforcement officer or a military man can, if they're not adjusted, can get them killed. Like that really blew me away. I'm like, I could probably never get killed for being empathetic, right? Not in my life. But I look at Gina, my assistant, who's an amazing lady married to an amazing man who's in law enforcement. Gosh, I don't want him to be empathetic to a certain extent if it's going to get him shot. So all these things that we don't truly understand about ourselves can also be overwhelming. But instead of me getting lost in all that stuff they were telling me, what did I do? I said, okay, how can I just take this and become a better version of me for me, not for you? Okay, that's the problem. I don't want to become a better me anymore because I want to please or help a bunch of other people. I want to become a better me so I can get closer to the life I say I want. And then as a result of me getting those results, I can help more people. I can become the philanthropist I want to be. I can become the giver I want to be. But if I'm giving from an empty tank, right, I got nothing left. I can't take care of me. A dead me isn't going to help anybody. And I'm not talking physically dead as much, but if I'm financially dead, if I'm emotionally dead, how can I help you when you reach out? And who might that you be? It might be just my two sons. It might be my wife. It might be people on my team reaching out. I'm not talking about each and every one of you doing your own free coaching call. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about us going through our lives and all the people, you each don't even have any idea how many people are watching you and saying, I want to be like him or her. You don't. How many of you gotten a text from somebody and they said, oh, or you texted somebody out of nowhere and they go, oh yeah, I saw you've been doing this and this and this. And you realize that they've been listening or looking at your Facebook posts, but have never commented or anything. And you're like, right away, what do you think instantly? Well, he's a Facebook stalker or whatever we think in our head, or weirdo. But bottom line, maybe they just like watching your life. When I was 1.4 million in debt living in an apartment because I owned no property in my 30th year in the industry. Do you know how many people said to me, Rick, I love watching you on Facebook. You're living the best life ever. Okay, thanks for telling me. I didn't say, no, you got it wrong. My life sucks right now. I didn't say that. Right? How many of you go into a party that you've been invited to by your friends, and as soon as you enter the door, you find a box and you get up on the box and you yell to everybody everything that's going on in your life, negative or positive? Does anybody do that? Yeah, I didn't think so. Right? But that's what we get caught doing on Facebook. And I don't know why, but I've never gone to a party long before Facebook. 2008 was when I first started to be a user of Facebook, but I didn't go to parties then and say, let me tell you how much money I'm making in my business. Let me tell you how much bills I have. But we've been a little bit more liberal about that. And you have to remember that what you spread comes back to you. And all of these things affect the one thing that we do to pay the bills. And come on, guys, let's be honest. When the bills are paid, aren't we a lot less stressed? Aren't we a lot more present? I talked to a friend of mine the other day. I've known her for many years. I met her when I had a Keller Williams office in Grass Valley, California. Today, she lives in Nashville. She was telling me about she heard her daughter wanted to come back and live with her. She used to live up here in Northern California, and she's living in Nashville. So, and about the time that her daughter said this, a friend of hers called her and said, hey, do you have any ideas? I've got a car back in Northern California and I need to get it to Tennessee. She goes, oh my God, I just talked to my daughter. I'm going to bring her back to Tennessee. So I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll fly there. I'll get your car and my daughter and I'll bring it back. She goes, oh my God, that's so nice of you. In the process, this was a conversations, planning the trip and getting to do the trip and coming back was a 6-week process. And in that, she got COVID, her daughter got COVID, her husband got COVID. And she was telling me the whole thing. And at the end of it, she said, you know, Rick, I love my real estate business, but you know what I loved more? During all of that time, I realized that I was good whether I sold a house or not, and I needed to relax and take care of me. I needed to give myself some grace. I needed to make sure I was okay, my husband and my daughter were okay. And we've set our lives up such that we are already okay to live the rest of our lives if we never sell another house. I thought it was so like immensely powerful to me that someone could say that, right? Like they had the capability to say that truthfully. Now, maybe some of you are there. I'm not where I could say, I don't have to sell another house the rest of my life. I'm also extremely ecstatic about every portion of my life right now and what the vision of my future is. Okay. And why is that? Why did I just make that comment? Because I didn't do what I used to do when she told me that story. If she had told me that story 6 or 7 years ago or 8 or 10 years ago, I would have instantly gone into comparison mode and that I suck because I'm not where she is in her life right now. And she's younger than me, God damn it. I didn't do any of that. I reveled in the moment with her. Now, it's not effective for us to be thinking one moment in the day about why am I not living up to what that person's doing or that person's doing or what my mother expected of me. It's not effective. It's not going to get you where you want. Why do I spend one moment of the day saying my thighs are too big? Why do I spend one moment of the day saying, why did my hair come out straight and instead of curly? And she's got the most beautiful curly hair. All of this is just disrespect for the life you have. And whether you believe in God or not, or a higher power, or none of that, it's still disrespect. At the end of the day, it's disrespect for yourself. All I want for us, all of us that get on this call or that listen to this call or that touch my life or I touch your life, is to realize how freaking amazing we are. And we're more amazing when we're in reality about where we are, our responsibility for exactly how we got here, and how amazing our vision for our future is. None of that includes being comparative. None of it includes this sentence, I'm not where I thought I'd be by this time of my life. Remember, I'm going to go back to my favorite Joseph Campbell quote. All right. My favorite Joseph Campbell quote was, we must let go of the life. Hold on one sec. We must let go of the life we have planned so that we can enjoy the life that's waiting for us. Okay. Really powerful quote, right? And that's the beauty of it's the beauty of understanding that everything is happening perfectly for me. And I quoted a book for you guys a few weeks ago, and I remember because a lot of you were texting me. It was called Quiet Mind, Epic Life by Matthew Ferry. Okay. Matthew Ferry is the brother of Tom Ferry, the coach, and the son of Mike Ferry, the coach. But Matthew Ferry is one of the most inspirational people I've ever heard in my life. And he's a student of a guy named Dr. David Hawkins, not Stephen Hawkins, Dr. David Hawkins. So if you can find some books by Dr. David Hawkins, and if you can find some books by Matthew Ferry, but the one from Matthew Ferry, please read Quiet Mind, Epic Life. And you might even want to download his app. But a lot of that it talks about having a perspective diet, like have no perspectives or opinions. Could you do that for 30 days? Oh my gosh, almost impossible. It's been impossible for me because you know what he tells you? If you find yourself having an opinion about something, you have to start your 30 days over again. So I've been working on that for several years now and haven't been hit 30 days in a row. But watch yourself and watch how it affects, watch how it sucks the energy out of you. I went to that mastermind where there were hundreds of people outperforming me. What did I have to work on every day? Not comparing myself, not looking in the mirror and saying, you're 64, you should have been so much further along in your life by now. Do you know what? If I were further along in my life, I probably wouldn't have met you, and it wouldn't have been near as fun as I'm having right now. And I'm looking right at Vanessa Johnson when I say that, because her and I have been the closest of friends from the largest of distances for 12 years. All right. Patrice Payne and I came across because of my recruiting efforts, and I've never met her in person, and we've been together for over a year. And she's one of my favorite people in the world. I've never even got to hug her. In fact, I'm afraid I won't let go when I hug her. She's going to have to push me away. It's a big, mean husband too. So all I'm saying is that we have the capability right now to take a really damn good look at what are the thoughts that are keeping us from the success we say we want. But I'm also going to ask you to examine what you say you want versus what you're committed to wanting. There's a difference. And most of it comes because we're thinking that other people are paying attention and are judging you by what you say you want. I can remember a day when a coach said, that's it? That's your big, hairy, audacious goal? Like when someone says that, what is that? That's judgment. Now, how does the person on the other end feel about that? That their goals aren't worthy, right? I used to listen to a comedian when I was 9 years old. He goes, my mom really wanted me to be a doctor and I wanted to be a bum. And he goes, so everybody's happy I'm a bum doctor. But the point is, it's not about what other people want for you. Now, you remember that I did a call on that one subject right there, that sometimes you're borrowing others' vision for yourself. That's okay as long as it's your choice. All right? You've probably heard somebody go da 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 da, and you go, that's a brilliant idea. I think I'll do that, right? That's okay. That's your choice to follow a vision that someone else saw that you didn't catch. I wouldn't be where I am right now if I didn't catch people's visions and follow them. Not my own, others. It's okay. All right? So I know that was a lot of stuff, a lot of emotion, but I wanted to get, if I could, some feedback, not on necessarily anything I said, but whether or not it resonated with you and there's something in there that you could use today or going forward. I've got all day.
This kind of goes in the line with My husband said something to me the other day because I was doing a big photo shoot and beating myself up. And he said, "You're not allowed to talk about my wife like that." And I went, hello. Like, it was like, we're so mean to ourselves sometimes. And for my husband to say that and check me. And so now anytime anybody's around me and they criticize themselves, I'm like, "You're not allowed to talk about my friend like that." And it's just resonated with me, like, just to try and keep positivity. But like that statement, I was like, we've been together for 26 years. And I'm like, you can't, like, wait, what? So that made me think back to when he said that on Tuesday. Really having positivity and trying to like change my thoughts and my words and matching my words with my actions. And I would never talk about a friend like that. So why would I talk about myself like that? Just thought I'd share.
That's powerful.
I love that.
I think I'll share. I think, what Rick told us earlier, about not beating ourselves up and not comparing ourselves and taking care of ourselves, whether it's physically or spiritually or mentally. I think it all reflects how we self-care ourselves is reflect how our self-worth, I think. And that's how I feel. And everything Rick said, I resonate with, actually. Thank you.
Janet, very much. And Vanessa, I see the tears, but my computer completely shut down right when you started talking. So I know it was still recording because Gina was on here keeping it on. I'm going to go back and listen to what you said. Janet, thank you. Who else would be willing to say a few words?
I want to say something. At the beginning of the year, I started off with just listening because I'm always on the calls and it's about changing your mindset. So this year I started with saying, thank you, God, for the 10 listings you've given me this year. And I've been a mom. I've been doing PTA, Girl Scouts, everything. And I really just wanted to focus on listings this year. And one of the things that was a lot about in the past too, thinking about a different way. So this year I said, thank you. And I'm on my 4th listing this year. And it's just, and everything you have set up this year, it resonates with me too, because I've been so hard on myself. So hard. It's so addicted to being depressed. And I found that out. Once I found out that I was addicted to being depressed because that was my comfort zone, I was able to do something about it.
And you
that's powerful.
Lorena, that's really cool. And you reminded me of a thought I started during the call that I didn't finish because of that. When I was talking about those people those PhDs, they were saying that your mind naturally will have between 65 and 95,000 thoughts a day, and up to 87% of them naturally without your help will be negative. Okay. And that's why it's an intellectual choice to have your mind fight your brain or your brain fight your mind, so that you can, and a lot of us were addicted to being right, or what are we right about? I'm addicted to being right about the fact that I suck. Okay. And that's where those negative thoughts come about. It's crazy. This is a world that we must live in with intention all the time, because as soon as we go, people say, oh, I'm good, everything's pretty much the same. And I keep reminding myself that staying the same is same as decay. All right. You're either going forward or you're in decay. Those are the only two things. There's no stagnant. Good for you, Lorena. That's such a big realization about yourself. And
I think it was huge.
Yeah. It's like, I used to say that it's my mother and her sisters, all older Lebanese women, used to, I'd come in and my mom be on the phone and I could hear my aunt saying, not feeling well today, you know, honey. And then my mom would say, oh, you're not feeling well. Me too. Only my leg hurts too. You know, it's like, who could be the most miserable? And it was a competition.
Oh, no, yeah, I understand. I
Yeah.
understand that.
Well,
And
it happens in a lot of 100% cultures. You know, it happens in the Latino culture. It happens in
It
the
does.
Chinese culture. There's a lot of people
my
like to
mom talks to someone that has cancer. She'll come home and think she has cancer, and then she'll have to go and do all these tests to make sure she doesn't have cancer. So I understand that. Yes.
Mhm. Yeah, brilliant. All right.
Great.
Gil, were you going to say something,
Yeah,
buddy?
yeah. I just want to say, I mean, uh, I'm pretty sure you said it to me once before. I don't know if it was in Vegas or in Riverside, and you said you are who your surroundings, who you hang out with. And I haven't been with you or seen you for quite some time, but everyone I talk to, everyone I always say my mentors, and I use you as an example, and then I use my pastor as another example. Um, I emulate you, and I try to work my ethic like you, positive, energizing, no negative thoughts, because you are the way you think,
Yep.
and that's what I enjoy about these conversations every Friday. Thank you so much.
Yeah, love having you on, Gilbert, and thank you. Yeah, I just want to make sure that you're getting something for you. I've told you guys all before. I got to speak day before yesterday to 32 juniors and seniors at a high school. And the lady that asked me on said, you just have to give, it's called a DECA club. Anybody familiar with that word? DECA. So anyway, they want to know about the best thoughts and processes to go into the business and real life world after they, and I was telling them about what happens when when you're mad at someone or when you're happy with someone and you express to them that you couldn't see those traits unless you also had them. If you were frustrated at this man's arrogance, well, you couldn't see his arrogance unless you had arrogance inside you. And if you were so overwhelmed and wanted to put this person on a pedestal because they were so kind and considerate, that you couldn't see those without also being kind and considerate. And that whole thing was one of the things somebody at the end, I was a little surprised that when they gave him a chance to question, she goes, oh my gosh, she didn't comment on anything I said or what it meant to her. She just said, how did you learn to speak so comfortably? You didn't look at notes. And I was actually in the front seat of the car. My wife was driving. I had my laptop up on top of a briefcase. And that was what she wanted to know, right? And I told her, I said that my speaking ability today is much different than it was just 10 years ago, because about 8 to 10 years ago is when I stopped giving a damn if the people that were listening liked me. Okay. Which meant all the speaking I did the years before that was more ego based. Do you get that? And that's what we've got to watch. It's like when I wear these really loud suits, again, I used to do it because it was ego based. I'd literally look around to see who was looking at me. Now, when I wear the really loud suits, I don't even give a damn. You like it, you don't like it, it offends you, it pleases you. I don't care. And because of that, I have more colorful jackets, suits, shirts, shoes than I've ever had in my life, because they're for me now, not for anyone else. Watch that in your behaviors, because I promise you it's showing up. Am I doing it for me or not? And if you're not, stop it. Right? My wife and I were invited. We had to drive 2 hours to go to a 3-hour event and drive 2 hours back, but we were committed to going for our friends that were there. And I wore a really loud suit and some pretty loud shoes. And I got there and it was 95 degrees and everybody was in shorts and t-shirts and they're like, dude, it's 95 out. And I don't know what they meant. They might have meant, why are you wearing a suit? I didn't have a tie on. And I said, yeah, the heat is a mindset thing. I don't feel like it's 95 out right now. That's all. No one commented on my suit. Neither did I. The guy addressed the weather. I addressed it back. Do you get it? Yeah, we are our own biggest enemy without even knowing it. And Lorena, your comment really reflects that. Vanessa, your comments reflect that. Like, right? We'll say things about ourselves that we would punch anybody else for saying to us. I rest my case. So, all right. Well, let's see. Is there any other last minute comments before we call it a day? All right. Well, thank you guys. It was a wonderful call. I loved it. I used to apologize for my emotion. I don't apologize anymore, but I think this call, we covered the gamut. So the word that I wanted to not say earlier, I thought, gosh, we all laughed about it today on our team call. So my mom used to make the most amazing pita bread, Lebanese Arabic bread at her restaurant. And she had like 30 sandwiches, different sandwiches, like a regular American sandwich, like pepperoni, cheese, roast beef, but it was all made in this amazing bread. Anyway, our call today on our team was about clients that were a PITA, P-I-T-A, pain in the ass. Okay, so that was our new little shortcut, and I hope you guys can use that in your business in your days. All right, I
Thank
love
you.
you all. Don't miss
Thank
don't miss next Friday with Hunter. And remember, Hunter's a good guy to bring friends to, family members, people that might be struggling. Bring them all, okay? And as you do that, my last thing, I've said it to you before, and I'm going to say it to you again right before we leave today. Everyone struggles. So struggling is a part of life. Suffering is optional. Have a great day, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rick. Thank you.
Have a great day.
Bye, everyone.
All right, Rick.
Okay.
Rick.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.